Hello, once again, ladies, gentlemen, and non binary friends, and welcome back to Gaming Nest News here on Nest HQ. It's Joker here, bringing you the news you want to know in the gaming and electronics world. And not only do we have me, we do have our special guest, Commissioner David, will be joining us here during this show today as we've got a lot to discuss and a lot to cover. Our biggest news here coming up is the fact that Google has announced they'll be shutting down their internal game development studios for their streaming platform Stadia. That means that they'll no longer be working to develop first-person person games, for the platform. Stadia GM and Vice President Phil Harrison did have this to say. He said, creating best-in-class games from the ground up takes many years and significant investments. The cost is going up exponentially. Given our focus on building on the proven technology of Stadia, as well as deepening our business partnerships, we've decided that we will not be investing further in bringing exclusive content from our internal development team SG&E beyond any near-term planned games. So not only will this shutdown impact around 150 developers, Stadia Games and Entertainment Vice President Jade Raymond is leaving Google as well. Google will continue to support the platform and work with developers to bring their games to the cloud-based platform. However, one developer has already pulled his game from them. Andrew Spinks, who's one of the creators of hit independent game Terraria, which is a roguelite centered around building a base, digging for materials, and defeating bosses, had his Google account unexpectedly locked down recently. The lockdown revoked his Gmail account along with everything he had ever purchased through the Google Play Store and the Android Marketplace. After attempting to contact customer service multiple times, the issue did not get resolved, and they subsequently chose to remove not only Terraria from the platform, but future titles from his studio Relogic would also not be found on Stadia. In two tweets released on February 8th, Spinks said, "My phone has lost access to thousands of dollars of apps on Google Play. I had just bought The Lord of the Rings 4K and cannot finish it. My Google Drive data is completely gone. I cannot access my YouTube channel. The worst of all is losing access to my Gmail address of over 15 years. I absolutely have not done anything to violate your terms of service, so I can take this no other way than you deciding to burn this bridge. Consider it burned. Hashtag Terraria for Google Stadia is canceled. My company will no longer support any of your platforms moving forward." Google has not yet responded to Spinks directly, nor have they released a statement. So, all of that being said, seems like there's a lot of trouble building up here for Google, David. What do you think? What do you have to say about this? Because I know this is a lot to be dropping within the last week.
Yeah, I think, I mean, this whole premise of Stadia is very interesting because you have basically, remote play that is supposed to kind of revolutionize and bring everybody together. I don't know if I even support the proper model itself. I mean, playing through a computer on like a console or another computer, it just seems kind of like a waste of energy. I mean, you might as well just buy the PlayStation, and I understand the cost there, but it's almost like leasing at that point. And the other thing is Google, that's a huge entity. It's got a lot of money to burn. And I know that they're going to be experimenting and they're going to be focusing more on the actual platform and supporting the third party developers rather than focusing on the studio itself, creating their own games, which I think Amazon was a good example of a company that has so much money to burn. And they canceled, I can't remember which game it was, but they were supposed to do an MMORPG. So it makes me kind of curious how they're going to implement this kind of third party when they already did really poorly right now with Terraria. And obviously, people getting locked out of their accounts is really not a great way to launch the platform at all. I think when it comes down to it, though, they're on very shaky ground right now. They're trying to take on the consoles too. They're fighting a war on way too many fronts, I think, and that's, like I said, Google's huge, and they'll survive it, and there's not going to be like a whole lot of backlash. But at the same time, I don't know, are they kind of showing the capabilities of what the gaming world has? There's time will tell, I guess.
Yeah, no, I think I agree with you. At least the time will tell. I think it they were looking. This could have been great for people who could not afford one of the consoles, but still wanted to play couch type of multiplayer with friends from across the country with very low latency. It would have been really nice to have seen it happen, but I took a look into it myself earlier on or late last year, and it just didn't appeal to me because everything that I could have gotten through Stadia, I either already had or could have gotten through other platforms that I trusted more. They did have, the option to play on like a mobile phone or a laptop or a tablet as well, which would have been, could have been really interesting because, hey, I could start up a game, switch over to my phone if I need to go, leave the room or use the restroom and I want to keep playing or anything like that. It just seems like it's starting to fall apart. I think Google got in way over their heads with the Stadia and they're not sure what to do with it, seems like.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's definitely a lot for any company, I think, to just kind of dive into game development, and the road to hell is always paved with good intentions, and I think you just said it best. It's a deep ocean that even the experts haven't quite got it right just yet.
We'll have to see if Google can bounce back and see how Stadia will do moving forward. Coming up next, we've got another great video from our boys over at Project Supervillain. We've been very critical of this game here on GNN recently, and I would say for good measure and for good reasons, because it has not lived up to hyper expectations. So, Project Supervillain, let's see what you guys have to say on Cyberpunk and your playthroughs and the experiences you've had with it.
What's going on, everybody? We're your hosts from Project Supervillain. I'm Mark Drifter.
I'm Killboss.
And today, we're doing a news roundup for Cyberpunk 2077, a game we truly hyped the fuck out of at the end of last year, and it just turned out to be a big fucking disappointment in a lot of different ways. So we're just gonna get into that, guys. So the first thing we're going to talk about here, we're just going to kind of go through some subcategories, but the disappointments of Cyberpunk 2077 are kind of, there's many of them. There were quite a few of them, but the main one was definitely the bugs, and we're just going to highlight some of the really bad ones because they deserve to be highlighted. We're not going to let them just get away with it. They launched the game in this state, and some of these bugs were just so bad. Some of them were just completely game-breaking, like the Down on the Street quest, guys.
Yeah, that's the one where Takamura was supposed to give you a call there, and he calls you up, and he's just like, V. And it's like, hello, yes?
Hey, it's me, V.
Yeah, and he just never says anything. So that one, you'd basically have to go back to an older save, reload, come back, and do all the stuff you just did all over again. That's really disappointing. Killing in the name of. There's another quest where Johnny just wouldn't show up. It's just like that one of that gif of Vincent Vega just looking around like that's it. Just where'd he go?
The bugs were many. Even me, like I personally had a lot. Like for example, the other day I was playing and I was talking with someone on the phone. I think it was Wakako. That's her name?
Yeah.
I was talking with Wakako on the phone, and she just stopped talking at a certain point. She just straight up stopped talking. And she was still in the corner of my screen, and I was waiting for a response. I was starting to be like, oh man, I'm going to have to restart the game. And then randomly V just responded to nothing, seemingly. So
the dialogue cuts.
Yeah, like there's plenty of those. So, like the Killing in the Name and the Down the Street, those are just like some of the bigger ones. But like all of the quests, almost every single one, there's potential for something to go wrong. Every single playthrough we've had, there's been a problem.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, I mean, you can't escape any of this stuff. And what made it worse was the save corruption bug, that's been patched now, thankfully.
That was by far the worst one.
That was the worst one. Thank fuck they patched that, because you could have put hundreds of hours into a game, but oops, your save file went over 8 megabytes. It's corrupted.
Yeah, no.
It's corrupted. You're fucked.
Thank fuck they patched that one. If they didn't, this game, like, I would zero recommendation for it, like 100%. Even now, I don't recommend buying it, honestly. Like, I don't recommend getting it for at least a couple more months, maybe another month. I don't know, but they've got some big developments to be made in this game.
A year.
Yo, that's what should have been.
A year. At least.
I'm just talking about playability. In a year, the game might be great. I don't know about that, but in maybe a couple months it might be playable, guys. That's what I'm saying.
We'll talk about how much better it could get a little bit later on, but we do have a few other things that have been developing throughout the history of this fuckedness. So, like, if you didn't know right now, let's just go down the rap sheet here.
Yep.
CD Projekt Red, as a company, is involved in at least 4 class action lawsuits because of the fuckery. This is just like one huge mess of false advertising. And, you know, when you buy a product, you expect to get a working product, especially when it was advertised that way. And if you pay for that product, you should get it in that state that it was advertised. But that's not what's happening, so people are filing lawsuits, no doubt, because they're pissed off that they gave their money to someone and they gave them back shit. Just a handful of shit.
Yeah. I mean, it was nice looking shit, at least.
But it still smelled like shit.
and it was like every now and again you could definitely see the shit. Like the niceness would, like, you turn it a couple ways and you could see it a little bit better.
Every now and then you'd find a piece of corn in there, but it was mostly shit.
So they're even being investigated by the Polish Consumer Protection Agency in regards to how the final release of the game differed from promotional material. So, like, just like kind of like false advertising crap. You know what I mean? Like they everywhere, everybody's mad, essentially. Big mad, big sad. What this game was promised was not delivered, and that's just hands down what needs to be said here. That's why we're here. We're telling you guys because we hyped it up to you guys. It's our responsibility to make sure you guys know this game isn't as good as it was supposed to be, like, by far. And it's so sad to say, but it's just true.
That's right, and you know what? It's definitely good that the Polish people have the Consumer Protection Agency looking after them, because I don't hear of any kind of proactive measures like that here in Canada, or let alone the US. That's not going to happen there. Australia, Poland, I don't know, they seem to have it together, so I've heard like the Netherlands and Denmark might be getting in on this kind of stuff, but yes, have your agencies take care of the consumers. It's a good thing. We can't let corporations get away with this kind of stuff. On top of that, too, if that just couldn't get any worse, the mods, which are being made by the users, those can even have problems now due to CD Projekt Red's incompetence, because they can actually open you up to a security exploit in the game that would allow people access to your computer. Isn't that fucking awesome?
You know what? Were the mods supposed to be like the shining beacon of hope? The thing everybody was looking forward to fix the game, and they did. I don't know how to explain the tech jargon. He's better at that than me, but essentially, mods bad.
Mods bad, don't download them. They will make you vulnerable, at least until CD Projekt Red finds a way to patch this, or maybe, who knows, maybe the fucking users will patch it. I have no faith in CD Projekt.
I have more faith in that.
Yeah, exactly. I'm so disappointed with how this has been handled by a company that we all had good faith in, that had a good track record. Oh, God.
Not anymore.
No, not at all.
Now,
even after their fucking bullshit apology.
Out the window. And yeah, we'll talk about that. The bullshit apology. You know what? Boilerplate statements, you know what I mean? It's all the same crap. It's just they threw the guy in front of the camera and they're like, just say what you can to try and regain their trust. And that's what he tried to do. You know, he gave us everything that you'd expect out of an apology, man. You know, like, oh man, we never saw this coming. You know, yeah, you fucking did. You telling us you never saw the Xbox One and PlayStation base console performance? Bullshit.
Yeah.
Bull fucking ass horse lick.
I will take this to my grave, but there is nothing that anyone in that company could ever say to convince me that that's not a lie.
Fuck
that is a lie.
Come on, like, just through the fucking teeth lying to you, you know what I mean? Like, just horrible. I can't believe that, you know? It's just, if the bugs and everything weren't bad enough, the apology just made it worse, in my opinion. Like, it's just such a boilerplate, just blanket statement apology, just what you'd expect, exactly. And, you know, a lot of people do eat that shit up, unfortunately. But, you know, just take it from us, guys. I mean, we're not experts on anything, but we're just telling you, don't buy the game yet. It's not ready.
Yep.
We have it on PC. We're not playing on console. Don't buy it on console. Fuck. So, let's continue into what we wanted of this game. We're just going to kind of sum this up. I don't want to take too much longer here. But
can I get a different game?
Yeah, like, give me the one I was promised.
Give me the one that was advertised. I want that game, not this one.
Yeah, like, this is the at-home Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah, we have Cyberpunk 2077 at home. Aww.
Cyberpunk 2077 at home.
Right?
You know, like, oh man, for 7 years this game has been hyped up to us as a game where you get to take control of your own appearance. in your own body, cybernetic enhancements. It's a cyberpunk game, you know. There's all sorts of that kind of stuff in universes like that. But for some reason, this game's lacking all the basics: barbershops, plastic surgeons, tattoo parlors, all these things. Why the fuck aren't they there?
How the fuck, in a universe like this, one that is built around the idea of body modification, where that is the thing that defines you as an individual in this universe, how the fuck is none of this customization in there? It is completely baffling that the only time you get to customize your character is at the beginning, at the character creator. After that, you are fucked.
Dude, we were playing on stream, so we turned off the fucking dick customization, and guess what? You didn't get to fucking change it later.
I didn't get to choose my dick.
He didn't get to pick his penis! What a travesty!
I know, like, what the hell? I have no idea what my cock looks like.
Wow,
I'm angry.
dude, like... I just, like, of all the things, I mean, there wasn't that much to change anyways. The customization was very limited there, too, so that was kind of disappointing. Like, penis customization, 3 out of 10.
Do you want a straight shaft or a crooked shaft? Either way, you're getting shafted.
You don't even get those options. Just big, small, or medium. I think you get the option of circumcised or non-circumcised.
Cool.
That's the other thing.
You can get a hood or not. Great. All right. While we're talking about customization too, can we get some actual, real vehicle customization and not just weird variants of the same vehicle that cost the same amount? It's like, oh, if I want a different paint job with slightly different specs, I've got to go and do a mission and save up a bunch of eddies to buy that one over there. Instead, I would just like to... I would like to just go to a shop, pull in, and oh look, it's a color palette. You can swap your color palette around for like way less eddies.
What the hell? Why is that a thing?
Right? It's been a thing for years and lots of other...
Grand Theft Auto! All you had to do was look at that game and just pretty much do most of that in Cyberpunk, and they just... I think they just skipped it because they knew this game wasn't ready. They're like, we gotta just not do these extra little things that people would enjoy. We can't afford to. We have to work on the game, and look what happened. This is what was released. The final product was shit anyway.
So no real vehicle customization. You cannot customize the color of your clothing. You just pick up whatever in the universe, and there you go. And most of it looks like shit made out of tinfoil and space blankets.
Oh my god, the trench coats.
It's too shiny. Like, I actually found a pretty cool trench coat, but most of them, like, really are not that
But
good.
the physics of the trench coats are shit.
They're shit.
You can't, like, when you're riding a
stiff.
motorcycle, you'd expect the trench coat to go flying behind you like Batman.
Yeah.
But no, it sticks to your leg like fucking glue. It's so fucking gross, man. You see that stuff in, like, old WWE games.
It's like overstarched clothing, and that's all you get. Like, again, like, just some customization, even with how you wear it in different styles and stuff, like rolled up sleeves or not, or open button and stuff like that. Like, again, like GTA, done it before, a lot better. Let's just get something like that. It makes you feel so much more immersed, but no customization allowed. It's like, it is the bare minimum.
And the other thing is, too, that's limited as hell. You get jackets and shirts and stuff, but you don't get to choose the stuff on your hands. You don't get to choose, like, at least you get to choose your shoes. But, you know what I mean? Like, there's so much... The hands are the things you see on the screen. Of course they didn't give you any option for what can be shown there. They can't afford to do that.
I know, it's ridiculous. That was the other thing. No gloves, really? Come on!
I want gloves. I want fucking, like, bandage wraps. I want fucking cool... Like, I want to see... I'm seeing...
Like, other characters have them. Why can't I have them? Fuck you!
All you see is your hands. They want to look... you want your hands to look cool, at least. I got fucking nail polish on mine. That's at least
Or
something.
you can have, like, cyber hands. I get that. But just gloves. Come on. You gotta give people options.
God. So, yeah, then the other thing is, obviously, they said they're not going to do a third-person mode or anything like that, but still, when you see the shadows and stuff, when you look around and you notice your guy out of the corner of your eye in the shadow, and you see him sprinting, and his arms are going, like, you know, like, it's really immersion breaking. It really is. Like, I don't have fun with that. It takes me out of the game completely. So, they really need to work on that, and then you pull out your gun, and you see your shadow with your gun. That's, like... You know, you just look stupid, and it's something that shouldn't be a thing, you know, like, at all.
It's just a goofy fucking game. Yeah, like, the last thing that I can really think of that I want them to improve, and this is something, again, that should have been happening at release, but better controls and better customization for those controls. there are so many weird button placements, and when you try to change the keys, that one's bound to another one, so you can't change it to that. And if you try to have one key changed and bound to multiple ones, it's not going to work. Oh my god, man, it is a nightmare trying to rebind things in this game. Again, you were probably better off using mods for that, but again, don't, because dangerous.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous that anyone should have this frustrating of a time trying to set up controls for a video game. Like, I'd play these to de-stress, not to make myself angry, but that's what happens. And this is not even playing the game. It's not even from dying. It's from trying to use the fucking menu. And they can't even get that right. They didn't get any, like, almost nothing was right with this game.
There's so much wrong with it. I mean, we will say, like, there were some things right. And in all the bugs in that mess of crap, somewhere in there is, like, a shiny gem of a game. And
like, its narrative is so good, and there are really memorable characters, and it has cool stuff, and the world itself is, when it's working, it is very immersive, and you can actually feel yourself in Night City, like it's alive. Those parts are really awesome. When the game is on, it really is on, but it's always interrupted by the glitch gremlin, just
something always happens. I've yet to play. Get out of here, glitch gremlin. Ah!
You start to pixelate. Yeah, that's it. It's just like, fuck off, man.
So, guys, that was our tangent. We didn't really have much else to say. We just wanted to update you guys on Cyberpunk because we hyped the fuck out of it earlier this year, and you know what? It wouldn't be right for us just to leave it off at, oh yeah, go get this game. This is a game you definitely don't want to get right now. I think you should definitely wait. We have it, and there's just so much wrong with it.
Yeah, do not recommend right now. I'm saying wait at least a year. I'm not kidding. Wait at least a year before better stuff comes to this game. If you play it now and you were looking forward to, like, all the stuff that was going to be in it because of the hype, know that most of it's cut and the universe itself is super underwhelming, so you're probably not going to have as good of a time as you thought you were going to. Spend your money on a different game.
Truly is unfortunate and breaks my heart that this is what happened with a game with so much hype, so much praise just going into it for 7 years, and then just, wow, what a way to end 2020 though, really. Like, it just was the cherry on top of the cake that year. So anyways, guys, there's our tangent. We went off again, probably too long, but anyways, we're gonna see you guys next week with some more news. I don't know what it's gonna be, but we'll see you next week.
We'll figure it out. Yeah, guys. All right, thanks for joining. Thanks for watching.
Peace out.
Peace out.
Thanks once again, Arc Drifter, Kill Boss, Project Supervillain, for taking another deep look into Cyberpunk. I know I was excited about the release. I was anticipating it when they announced that it'd be released, and especially with the addition of star talent like Keanu Reeves, you think, hey, this is going to be fantastic. And then every little bit I see of people playing it, it just looks like it's falling apart bit by bit. And I don't think I've ever seen a game so mal-aligned and so just trod on, unlike anything else I've seen since E.T. was released on the Atari. And I don't think I've seen a company burn so much goodwill with their fans and with their customers like Project CD Red have with this release. I mean, they built up so much goodwill through the release of The Witcher 3 and the DLC, and then it just all came crashing down with the game, and then with all the other drama and controversy surrounding them. So it's been a wild ride for CDPR and for Cyberpunk. David, is there anything else you want to add to that?
I mean, I haven't played the game, so it's very hard for me to even critique it, other than, I love the Cyberpunk theme, and I am very interested in it overall, but I felt like for such a, again, I think this just goes back to the Stadia thing, where we're talking about studios that, yes, they have made a few games, but maybe they just didn't have the capacity to go into the waters that they really wanted to tread. They might not be a rowboat specifically. They might just be like a tugboat going in the middle of the ocean instead of being the freighter that they really needed to be. Maybe they needed more time. Maybe they needed a little bit more expertise. I mean, you have kind of this type of thing that comes out, and then you have, on the other side, Take-Two Interactive or Rockstar Games coming out with GTA and Red Dead Redemption, showing that these games can be done, but they take a lot of time, and controversially, they also have a lot of issues that go into that time that's being taken with the crunch, which I know Richard has once gladly explained to us in regards to how that is hurting employees and hurting the overall game industry. So it's this kind of seesaw of, appeasing the gamers and also appeasing your staff and appeasing shareholders and all this stuff. So I mean, I think, it's one of those ones where No Man's Sky came out, did terrible, but from what I hear, it's doing a lot better. Maybe it's just one of those games that has to grow naturally, but I don't know if that'll be in time for what they want to really see, with everybody asking for refunds, and if people will actually show that goodwill again.
Yeah, I know, especially with No Man's Sky. I played it on release. I've played it after a bunch of the main title updates, and it has grown exponentially as a game. And that just goes to show what a developer can do if their community is passionate enough about it, and they understand what their community is passionate about, and why they're passionate about it, what they're asking for, and responding directly to the community. It doesn't seem like CDPR, outside of a few things like the save glitches, it doesn't seem like CDPR have really answered to their community. So have to see if they can do that, and if they can turn this game around, because like you said, it's a fantastic universe. The Cyberpunk universe is something that has always interested myself as well. These just kind of alternate universes of, what happened if technology, didn't go as far as it has today, like in a steampunk. What if it has gone expansively faster, in the same amount of time, like in a cyberpunk universe. So it's seeing a universe like these just fail to execute on launch just is a big struggle. We'll see if CD Projekt Red can pick that up here in the future. We're gonna go ahead and move on here, and we're going 3 for 3 on issues with releases and projects today, as the long-awaited Fallout New Vegas mod, Fallout the Frontier, has been pulled from popular modding site Nexus Mods, as well as their own website, following allegations that one of the main developers working on the project posted pedophilic content on a personal art page. Now, not only that, but players have criticized in-game content involving uncomfortable sexual situations, including a quest line that involves enslaving a young girl. Content removed from the mod includes multiple characters worth of voice acting, work of multiple artists throughout the game, and extra music for an in-game radio station available for players to listen to. Now, the remaining development team for Fallout the Frontier has posted a statement on their Nexus Mods page stating this. Some deeply concerning news has emerged in the past few hours. We have recently been notified that one of our developers, Zoo the Skunk, has posted animated pedophilic content on their personal artist account. The items in question are deeply disturbing to the entire team, and we condemn them in the strongest sense. Zoo the Skunk has since been removed from the development team and banned off of our community Discord. We will be conducting dialogue with members of the development team to hear their thoughts regarding the current situation and to help make our decision more informed. We have stopped production and work on the mod to address the current events properly. More measures will be undertaken, and a more detailed address will be posted soon. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed both in the mod and outside of it belong solely to the authors who write them, and not to the mod's organization, community, or other group or individual. Now, further statements from the mod team on their website and Twitter account seem to suggest that this mod will be back at a later date after further changes to the inappropriate content have taken place, also stating that it will be the final build available for the mod. Now, this mod has seen 7 years of development time and includes 3 extra main quests and over 60 side quests available to play. Now, if you are not heavily invested or know a lot about Fallout New Vegas or the Fallout world in general, this mod, like I said, 7 years of development. That is about as long as the actual game itself has been developed. And everything that I have even heard about the Frontier is massively positive outside of this incident. They are expanding so many different things with new characters, expanding the game, changing a few things, balancing a few things, and the extra quest adding in, dozens of hours of playtime. And now to have it all derailed because somebody, decides to post something abhorrent like this is absolutely massive. And it's kind of crushing and heartbreaking to see that they're so close to the finish line and one person just trips them up, on their own without much of a second thought. I do love the fact that the mod team, the development team for the mod, have immediately responded, not only condemning the extra content or the content that was posted outside of the game, but also having nothing left to do with that individual developer, removing all of their content and just saying, we do not want anything to do with you. And it's a massive step that a lot of companies, large companies don't even take when, an actor, a developer, producer, director do something, along, not necessarily like along these lines, but something that also is abhorrent or very much negative. And I love the reaction to this. What about you, David?
Well, I mean, I was just looking actually on my Steam while you were talking there, and I was like, I have 202 hours in the regular Fallout, and I haven't even finished that game with the expansions and everything else that's in there. So I can definitely appreciate how much time and effort was most likely put into this mod. And as you said, it is kind of unfortunate. I know that I think I was just looking it up too. It is back up. I can't really see anything because it's behind like a wall on the Nexus mods that say it's adult content. But the other thing too that they said is there were some voice actors and musicians and artists. They have pulled out because of this one person that obviously was sharing content that's not appropriate in any sort of setting. I know there's going to be kind of a discussion about basically should things have been removed just because they are doing their terrible things on the side. Does it take away from the overall mod? I don't know what content specifically was taken away. Obviously though, when you do something like that, it is kind of nice to see that they are stepping up and they are at least taking some sort of responsibility. It's hard to know what people are going to be doing in their personal lives. You never know if one of your modders is going to become a murderer, and you can't anticipate this sort of stuff. You can't, and what happens too with the future of the mod, I think we're still kind of seeing people kind of get the ratings for it and maybe perhaps see it. I still see memes on some of the stuff that was posted on there. A lot of the dialogue, it seemed to be very, I'm definitely not a psychiatrist, but subconsciously something overtly sexual in nature and really just kind of a weird fantasy that doesn't really, I think, add to the Fallout universe at all. Obviously, Fallout had slaves and they had the slavers and you could join them and everything. It was a kind of a moral quest, but these options and what the content that was there didn't seem to pretty much fall in line with any particular of importance to the storyline or character development or anything like that. It's more just kind of a personal fantasy or something. But again, I can't speak for what was going on the mind of the developer. Maybe it was just bad taste. I'm not sure. But at the same time, good to see developers stepping up and taking some integrity for their work and understanding and, really responding to what the community probably doesn't want to see or be involved with.
Yeah. Shock for shock's sake doesn't normally work out. Shock value is usually really well done when it does trigger those developments in the character, in your decisions. How do you move forward with this? How does your character move forward in these situations? And it's like I can totally understand looking at the slavers as a faction, and what they do as a faction is completely separate from trying to enslave and sexually harass a little girl. That was one of the slavers. While they're slavers and they physically abuse their slaves, it's not in a sexual base. So it's very, very weird and disconcerting to see that. But like you said, like we said, very glad that the rest of the dev team have stepped up to the plate. And to me, they've maybe not knocked it out of the park, but they've definitely hit a standing triple with this one. To based on what they feel like they're going to need to do here further on in the future with the development could mean that it moves up to that kind of knocked it out of the park situation where they did everything that they could right and they move forward in the best way, and more things to look forward to and develop here in the future to see. Because I do enjoy the Fallout world. I did enjoy my multiple playthroughs of New Vegas, and adding a mod to a game like that is always so much fun because you just get so much more content that has been handcrafted and lovingly worked on. So I do want to see, a full release of the Frontier and see exactly what they brought to the table and what's changed in New Vegas. So I'm excited for that and looking forward to that in the future. That is going to be it for us here at Nest HQ for this week of Gaming Nest News. Don't forget, we are still looking for your contributions. We want to see your plays, your highlights, your news pieces, your news videos, anything you want to help contribute to the show and get it out to the world. We'd love to have that here on the show. So please give us the information, send us those plays at info@nesthq.online, and we'll make sure we work with you to get your pieces here on the show. That is going to be it for us for this week. So thank you again, David, for joining us for this live episode of Gaming Nest News. We'll be back next week with more news. Thank you and have a great week.